Hello, I have a nice lick for you today, and this particular lick is quite a technical hybrid picked country style idea. And I used to do quite a lot of these country style licks. I haven't done one for a while, and by no stretch of the imagination am I an actual country guitar player, but I do really enjoy exploring this kind of style. It's a really fun style to play on the guitar. And this lick is just something I've been noodling around with this week that I thought I would share with you. So the lick sounds like this. Nice lick. So there you have it. I'm going to do what I usually do. I'm going to take you through the lick note by note. Also going to talk a little bit about the theory and the context of the lick so that you'll know how to use it, and potentially you'll be able to come up with some similar ideas of your own. So as I said, this is quite a technical lick, but I'm going to try and make it as approachable as possible. And the usual things apply when you're working on technical stuff. I think break it down into small pieces, start slowly, really keep an eye on your technique and make sure that is good, and then gradually build up speed. So let's take a look at how this lick works. I want to start by talking about some of the theory stuff and some of the note choice considerations you have when you're trying to go for a country sound. So this lick is designed to work over a C major chord or a C 7th chord, and I'm starting up at the 8th fret and then working my way down the fretboard. Now, a question I sometimes get asked is, what scales do you use if you want to sound country? And you've got a lot of options here, I think. I think for me, the most important thing is to think about chord tones. So the notes from the chords that you're playing over. So in the case of this particular lick, it's being played over a C chord. So the chord tones are going to be C, E and G. That's the root 3rd and 5th of the chord. You could add in a B flat as well, which is the flat 7. And one way of visualizing these chord tones on the fretboard is just to see them in terms of chord shapes or triad shapes along the neck. So this is where it's useful to know the basics of the caged approach to understanding the fretboard, just because that gives you these important chord tones in every zone of the fretboard. So for instance, I'm starting the lick up here and I'm going to be thinking about my C major bar chord at the 8th fret, and then next zone of the neck here is going to be this kind of C in a G form shape, and then we've got the A form shape here and coming down to an open C chord like that. So that's giving me my main chord tones. Now you can of course play some other notes as well, and you might like to think in terms of scales. I think there are two main scale choices when you're playing country, and that's the major pentatonic and the minor pentatonic. So we got the major pentatonic here, and then the minor pentatonic. And you can add in some chromatic notes there, so the blues scale, and you can do a similar thing with the major pentatonic as well. And add a minor 3rd in there as well. Some people refer to that as the bluegrass scale. Another option might be the Mixolydian mode, which is the 7-note scale that works over a C7 chord. So all of those things work, all of those things are going to sound good. And for me in this lick, and just generally when I'm playing country, it's a bit of a mishmash of all of those things. My chord tones are giving me my main reference points on the fretboard, and then I'm adding to that with scale tones, passing tones, that kind of thing. On to the lick itself then, just a reminder of how it sounds. And I want to start by giving you the actual notes in the lick, and then I'm going to talk about my right hand approach. First few notes of the lick then. And I'm starting 8 to 9 on the G string, just a hammer on. Then over to a G and a C. Then on the B string I've got a B flat, an A, pulling off to a G, and then I'm playing an F on the G string. And the lick continues like this. So again, I've got an 8 to 9 hammer on the G string. That's that kind of minor 3rd to major 3rd bluesy sound. Then I've got C, G, and then I've got a slide from 8 to 7 on the D string, and then I'm playing a G at the 10th fret on the A string. So far. And now we've got our first shift down the fretboard. So all of this lives around this C major bar chord shape. Then we're coming down into the 5th position, and I'm thinking in terms of my C major chord in this G form. And the lick continues like this. So I've got a 6 to 7 hammer on the A string. And then we've got G, C, sliding down to B flat. And that's leading us into the next zone of the fretboard. So now I'm in this A form of the C chord, and this next bit is kind of in and around the C blues scale. So it's a 4 to 3 pull off on the D string, and then we've got the 6th fret on the A string, and then the C root note. So, and then we're sliding down 2 frets, and we're now in the open position, and the lick finishes like this. So we've got a low G, then we're skipping a string, got a D sharp to E, and landing on the root. So all of that together. So if you're thinking about those chord shapes and chord tones, I think that stops it from just being a random bunch of notes. Rhythmically, this one is really straightforward. It's just all 8th notes. I think the things to watch out for are making these position shifts smooth so that the rhythm isn't disrupted. So this part of the lick, for instance, that bit there, you've got a position shift. You just need to make sure that's nice and efficient and you're not dragging as you're shifting down the fretboard. So that's the basic lick. I'm just going to talk about the picking hand. Now you can play every note in this lick with the pick and it will still sound good, but I think if you want that real country sound, then a bit of hybrid picking is good, and you're giving the strings a little bit of a snap and you get that kind of chicken picking sound. So when I'm hybrid picking, generally I'm using the middle finger of my picking hand, and if I just take you through what I'm doing with this particular lick, I've got that note there is the first middle finger note, then I'm using the pick, and now I'm using my middle finger on the D string and pick on the A string. So, and here I'm using the pick, middle finger for that C, sliding down, and again middle finger for this pull off, pick, and then middle finger skipping a string for that hammer on. And you can end the lick with a C major chord, or sometimes I think I might go and with a C9 chord, so maybe slide on your first finger there to leave you in position for the chord. So one more time, the entire lick slowly. Let me take you through the gear that I'm using today, and I don't think there are any secrets to getting a good country sound. You need a Telecaster, a Fender amp or a Fender style amp, and you can't really go wrong with that. So today I'm using my Telecaster. It's a 52 reissue Telecaster that I've had for many years. It's all stock. I haven't changed the pickups or any of the parts or anything like that. Amp is my Fender Deluxe reverb. It's a reissued Deluxe reverb. It's one of the hand-wired ones that they came out with a few years ago. Very nice amp. I think Telecaster straight into a Deluxe will get you a very respectable country sound, but I am actually using a couple of pedals today as well. I've got a touch of compression from my MXR Dynacomp and then a touch of drive from my J Rocket Archer. That's it for today. I hope you enjoy learning to play this lick. If you want more nice licks, there are plenty of those on my website, and there are plenty of other country licks there as well, so check that out if you're interested. The tab for this one will be up on my Patreon page. Thanks very much for watching. I shall see you next week. Bye.